So for today, we're just doing a few last practice problems before we start the practice test. And this is one of them. We put 2 in to the f function, and then we got 11. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 5 is 11. G of -1, we stick -1 in for the g of x function, and you get -8 minus 1, -9. Raise your hand if you had that one right. Okay, good. Those are supposed to be easy. Now, we're going to take those same 2 functions, and I'm going to rewrite them just to make it really clear. 3x plus 5 and 8x minus 1. And 8x minus 1. And this was the f of x function. And here's the trickier kind. What if I say, what is f of g of 1? F of g of 1. Another way to write that is this, f of g of 1. Truckee, how do I start this thing? These can be confusing for a lot of people. Do you know how to start? Okay, watch. Right there, g of 1, you can do that. We just did it a second ago. Right in there, figure out g of 1. G of 1 is you stick a 1 in the function. So 1 goes here, 1 goes here, and what do you get?
7.
Yep, 8 minus 1 is 7. So this part right here, that's 7. So now it's really f of 7. It's like a 2-layer problem. We did the first layer. Second. Now what?
You plug the 7 to the x's in the function.
All right. Stick the 7 into the f function, and what do you think we get?
26.
Yep, that's right. Everybody got that one? Okay, then there's one last kind. What if I say g of x is 15? But I already said g of x is this. Then you use substitution and you figure it out. You got 2 things that g of x equals. All right, so if g of x is 15 and g of x is 8x minus 1, then if this is really 15, I can stick it where g of x was, which is right there. That whole thing can be a 15. So now it's 15 equals 8x minus 1. That came from this equation right here, except I replaced the g of x at the beginning with a 15. Then I could add 1 to both sides. 16 equals 8x, x equals 2. Be honest now. How many of you got that one right? Now, that's a decent number of you, but I want one more like that then. I'm going to use different letters. F of x equals x squared plus 1, and m of x is equal to 4x. Then my question would be, what if m of x was equal to 24? Solve. Lilo.
Would be 37.
So, where did you put the 24?
24, since it says mx is 24.
Yep.
then we put 24 equals 4x.
Yep,
And
so that's where 24 goes.
Order of operations, x would equal 6, and then you plug it in for fx equals x squared plus 1, and that comes out as 37, I believe.
Okay, wait, you did an extra layer that actually wasn't part of the problem. I like what you did, I think I could have done that, but just to finish this off, you said divide by 4 and x equals 6, and you were right. But then you went and plugged it in the other one. But I never said to use f of x. See, I just said m of x. Now, if I had said f of all that, then that would be what you would have done. But we just could stop right there at 6. Did anybody else get 6 for their answer? Okay, good. All right. So, one last thing is if you have a picture. What if you have a picture, and the picture looks like this, and then they say, this is the point -1, -1. This is the point 3, 4. This is the point 4, 3. And this is the point 9, 5. What's f of 4? Can you do the graph kind? In a moment, I'm going to ask you to write down f of 4 equals, and let's say you think it's 17. Write it down. In a moment, I'm going to have you turn to the kid next to you and see what they think. I would like you to be able to talk about this with the kid next to you. That brings out a different part of the learning. Okay, so imagine if I was your partner, and you turned and asked me, and you said, I really don't know. I would have said, okay, they told us x, because that's where x goes. You know, f of x. They told us x was 4. So that's this. When x was 4, what do you think the answer should be then? Well, it's the other number that goes with that, so it's 3. Raise your hand if you had a 3. Oh, sweet. Okay. Another one like that. What's 2f of 9? Now, don't let the 2 confuse you. You can do the 2 times last. So really, I just asked you f of 9. But double it. All right, I called on a student, and he's going to start with the f of 9 part right there. So tell me, what would you do first?
You'd find where x equals 9 on the graph, and that would get you what? F of 9 equals 5, and then you'd multiply 5 by 2, get you 10.
So you do 5 in here, and then the 2 times the 5 gives you 10. Raise your hand if you had a 10. Awesome. So I think we've covered most of the things now. Not everything, but most of the things. Here's one last thing that people sometimes get, like they think they have to do something really complicated and you don't. What if I said, what's f of -1 plus 3f of 3? F of -1 was really easy. It's just right here. So that part's -1. Do you get the first part of the answer is -1? Now finish this question. 3f of 3. If you get confused, just scribble out the 3 and do f of 3. You don't need to do the 3 in front of it. Hazel, what's f of 3? Just the f of 3. 4. And then you do 3 times that.
12.
And then you put it with the -1. 12 with the -1 makes 11. Who had an 11 for your answer? Okay. All right, here is a little practice quiz. It's a little half sheet. If you're following along at home, there's this little half sheet quiz that you can take for practice. And that's what we're going to do next.